This show is created for you by the media team of the Accounting Association at Cal State Northridge. Welcome to our third AA podcast this semester, the show where we explore the accounting world one asset and liability at a time. My name is Mariana, and today we're talking more about Meet the Firms. So last week, we touched down on some tips and talked a little bit about our experiences with recruiting in the past. Today, we'll talk about Meet the Firms more in detail about our personal experiences at the event, what we advise others to do, and what to avoid doing. As always, Anika and Michael are here with me and our guest speakers, Talin and Thahn. So first of all, we'll talk about how to start recruiting. One of the first things you need to do is do your research. A good place to start would be by researching the difference between the size of the firms. Prior to Meet the Firms, you will need to decide which firm you will want to focus on. A mistake that some people make is spending too much time talking to the firms they're not very interested in and to the professionals that work in the field that they're not planning on doing. And although getting some extra insight will never hurt, you still want to make sure that you spend your time wisely and ask the right questions and the right people. So let's discuss the difference between the firms. Talin, I know that you have recruited with both Big Four and mid-tier and even worked with a private firm. Please take it from here.
So accounting has two different types. There's public accounting and private accounting. Public accounting has both Big Four, which are the top firms. They have international clients, and they are very large firms with many employees that work there. Mid-tier firms are also in public accounting. They are generally smaller sized firms. They have more office locations, and they have a better work-life balance. In private accounting, they generally deal with local clients, and they have more flexible hours, and usually there's less of a commute time since there's many local firms located in a lot of different areas. At private accounting firms, you're generally closer with the team that you work with, and it is more of a community environment. So the differences between the public accounting and private accounting are the different types of work that you do. Public accounting firms deal with a totally different client base and have different jobs and tasks that they do, and private accounting firms do a completely different job as well. So generally the difference between these is the type of works that are completed and the work-life balance and the size of the firms as well.
So would you say that private firms work more with private clients and then the big companies are the ones that work with big businesses?
Yes.
And then why are you interested? I know that you're doing EY and Co-Resnick next year, right?
Yes.
Why did you choose the mid-tier company?
So I currently work at a private accounting firm, which is local in my area. And this has given me a lot of great experience about what private accounting firms do and the work that's done, mostly just bookkeeping and payroll and just tasks like that. I am going to do a winter internship with Co-Resnick and the summer internship with EY because I wanted to get some experience in the public accounting field. So I'm going to get experience with both Big Four and mid-tier to kind of see the differences. And after obviously completing the internship, I'll have a better understanding of what I like generally and what type of work that I like to do for the future. So that is why I'm kind of doing a little bit of each to see which one fits my needs best.
All right, yeah, so what Talin is doing is great because if she's not sure what she wants to do, the best thing to do is try to get as many internships as you can and just try it out. So Anika, I know that you're going to work full-time with the EY now ever since you did your internship. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, sure. So when I started recruiting, I was definitely open to offers from all firms. I didn't really know if I should choose mid-tier or Big Four, but I solely decided my offer based off of how great I got along with everyone within the firm that I was working for. I just really liked their culture. I'd also liked a few mid-tier firms, but I picked EY because I felt like I fit well within their community. And again, I really liked the culture of the firm.
All right, got it. Perfect. And then Michael, so what kind of firms are you looking at?
I'm mainly targeting mid-tier because I think it gives me a good amount of variety to the work that I do. I've heard from professionals that you tend to be more specialized in a Big Four firm than in a mid-tier firm. I think this makes mid-tier the most sensible place to start, in my opinion. If you're too specialized in one skill and you decide that you don't like it later on, it will be much harder to switch than if you started as more of a generalist. I've noticed a trend with some mid-tier firms. They tend to emphasize a build your own career mindset, and I think mid-tier is in a perfect position to do that. They're large enough to have a wide variety of clients and work, but not so large that they need people to specialize in a very particular skill set.
All right, thank you. That was actually very insightful. Thanks so much, Michael. All right, so next, let's dive into which professionals you should be talking to. It's good to know which field you're interested in prior to going to meet the firms, but it's also okay not to. Meet the firms is definitely a good place to ask questions and not be sure. But from my personal experience, the first time I attended Meet the Firms, I did not know the difference exactly between audit and tax. And I'd say that it was a little stressful because I had to figure it out as I went around just talking to the firms and the professionals. And I felt like I didn't sound too smart in a way. And I feel like in some cases, I wasn't always sure what the professionals were talking about exactly. So I would definitely recommend doing your research. So a field is a very personal preference. You'll have to ask yourself what kind of work you want to do. And if you're willing to travel, are you okay with doing the same work? So Talin, can you tell us more about the field that you're working in, please?
Yes, so currently in the private accounting field that I'm working in, the work is very different. There isn't a specific task that we do every single day. So I do many different types of works throughout the days and weeks that I'm working there. I've been working there for the past 2 years and I've done multiple different tasks. And I would say that is one of the main differences between private accounting and public accounting as well. I feel like I don't have much experience in public accounting yet, but I feel like the work is most of the time very repetitive and you do constantly the same thing over and over again, which at times can be good because you're constantly improving on what you're working on. So currently right now at the accounting firm that I'm working at, I deal with many different tasks on the daily that mainly includes bookkeeping for local clients. Most of our clients are generally larger sized clients. We have some different law firms and dental offices and different companies like that, whether it's restaurants. We also deal with individual tax returns as well. So the work that I'm doing involves mainly bookkeeping. Also, we run payroll for our clients' employees. We do K1s and different tasks that depend, again, like what time of the year it is, whether it's tax season or it's not busy season. We do kind of the more back end work. That is what we do in private accounting generally.
Gotcha. And then what are you planning on doing at Resnick and EY?
So at Resnick and EY, since they are public accounting firms, I'm expecting to work on larger sized clients, more bigger and internationally traded companies and things of that scope. Again, not too familiar with it yet, but I will get experience when I start my internship.
And do you already know which field you're going to be working in?
Yes, so I have decided that I'm going to be working in the tax field since most of my experience is in tax. And from what I've learned from the classes that I've taken so far, along with my experience for my job, I've decided that tax is the field that I'm going to go into. But I'm still open to trying audit and seeing what that's kind of like. But I do have some experience in audit since our accounting firm does do audit as well. So I have seen and heard about different client sites that we visit, and generally the difference between private and public is that whether you're in tax or audit, your clients are generally more local for private accounting firms. So again, the commute time, the distance that you're driving to client sites and things like that is shorter than what it would be in public accounting.
All right, so since Selena already has experience from her classes and the job that she worked at, she has an idea of what the difference between tax and audit definitely is. But as of for people that are just starting to recruit, haven't taken the classes, and don't have the experience, Tang, can you tell us how you decided on the field, what kind of questions you were asking the professionals and meet the firms?
Thank you, Mariana. So from my experience, I haven't worked like a bookkeeping or something. My previous job is a barista, so I have chance to talk to people, and I also do volunteer for the volunteer income tax assistant. I figured out that I like doing tax, So I know when I went to attending meet the firm, I know that I want to do tax. And when I meet with a professional, the first thing that I just be myself, and I will like introduce myself a little bit first, and I try to like get more information from the professional that I talk to. Sometimes I talk to a partner, but I have no idea that he is a partner. So I just start like just see professional just like a person or maybe a friend. So you will be not like afraid of that and just start asking like some basic questions to break the ice. And from that point, I will like looking for more like how long that the professional been worked with the firm, and do they like what they doing, and what do they like most about the firm. I just want to looking for some core values that the firm have, and is it will be the same value that I'm looking for.
Right, that makes sense. And then as of kind of like, how did you decide that you want to do tax? Was it from your experience only?
It's from my personal experience, like when I can prepare my own tax return, I really like it. And I feel useful when my friend asking me like specific questions. Also, I do volunteer for the volunteer income tax assistant like 3 years. So I figure out like I really like doing this, and I don't want to move around with the tax. I usually just like I know I had like my plan, just working at one specific like place, and that's it.
Okay, so I know that you had decided that you wanted to do tax. And did you talk to any different professionals that were not in tax? And what kind of questions did you ask those professionals?
I went to meet the firm 2 times, and I also talked to not only tax professional, but I also talked to audit professionals, because sometimes there's a lot of student talking with tax professional, and then I think like I should talk to audit professionals. So there's some good question that I can ask professionals, such as like day-to-day responsibilities, rotational opportunities, their work-life balance, and also about the volunteer and social clubs. I'm really curious, like why they choose audit, and I want to know more about their typical work.
Right. So when you're going to meet the firms, you might not really know what you want to do. But as you're talking to the professionals, if you do ask them those questions, it will definitely help you, because you might not even be thinking about something, but once they say it, it kind of makes sense to you now. You can apply it to yourself and just figure out if that's something you're interested in or if that's something you might even hate. So the thing is, you might not be ready for everything. We've heard like many stories. Some people just get too nervous and feel intimidated to speak to the professionals, or they just blank out and they don't know what question to ask. So therefore, it is very important to prepare yourself. Like my personal advice, it's to sit down for a few hours, write down everything that you know about recruiting so far, that you might think of questions that you have and want to ask the professionals. And once you create the list of questions, you should just print it out, keep it in your portfolio as a reference. And before going up to a specific firm, take a quick glance. You'll just kind of have an idea of what you're curious about. And once you go on with the conversation, I'm sure you'll get more questions. You will want some clarification. And from there on, it should definitely be more easy to decide what you want to do. Michael, what were some questions that you were asking?
Thinking of questions to ask is definitely a skill that you develop over time. Remember that a conversation takes two people. Don't be so focused on keeping the conversation going that you forget to listen. Sometimes you won't be able to keep a conversation going, and that happens to everyone. If someone says something that interests you, lean into it and perhaps start a conversation about it. I recently went to a meeting with a firm where they were talking about career planning. The firm was going through a merger at that moment. I thought back to a friend who started working at a local firm soon after his graduation. His firm had been merged into a larger firm, and I asked the recruiter how you could account for that when you were planning out your career. He started talking about how his own firm was handling the merger. So I think once you start learning more about the firm, you can ask deeper, more firm-specific questions.
Right. And then it all comes down to just being ready and knowing what questions you want to ask. But then, we're all human, and obviously we'll forget, or sometimes we'll get a little too curious and ask questions that might be a little too personal. So, Anika, what were some questions that you wish you had asked, like after the event, or maybe you wish you didn't ask?
I can't really think of any questions that I wish I didn't ask, but I would say to, refrain from asking very basic questions. I think that it's great to always ask questions about the culture of the firm, what's expected from their employees, or what opportunities the firm provides for those who want to grow within the firm.
Right. So as we were all saying that once you go to meet the firms, you want to sound ready and interested. So whenever you go up to a professional, please avoid asking them very basic questions. Don't ask what audit or tax is or what is Big Four. That's something you should know before going to meet the firms. And once you do talk to the professional, they'll probably be wearing like name tags, or this time I'm sure we'll say it on the screen what they do. So it's better to ask, for example, it's an audit senior. What kind of work do you do? What kind of clients you work with? But just don't try not to come off as if you have no idea what the whole event is about or what people even do. And Anika had mentioned that it's not the best idea to ask very personal questions. I personally don't have a story like that, but I do remember that when I was recruiting, there was a girl who was at Meet the Firms that was a CSUN student too. I'm not really sure who she was. I just met her there, but I do remember that she was sharing with me that she felt very embarrassed because she was talking to one of the partners. And she had asked him a question that was kind of like how he manages to still have a family. And it wasn't very clear what exactly was going on in his life, obviously, but he seemed to get really offended and kind of just stopped talking to her and shifted to a different student, which she regretted a lot. And there might be situations like that as well. So try not to get too personal and too in other people's business, because it is definitely a professional event. And sometimes some questions might make professionals uncomfortable because they are also people with everyday life and going through stuff. It's okay not to know what to ask. Many people have thought of the best questions probably after the event, but the good thing is that you can always reach out and send thank you emails and even ask for a coffee chat. It'll give you a chance to just leave a bigger impression and also clarify a lot of things. So Talin, do you think there's a good way of reaching out to the professionals, and would you recommend setting up coffee chats?
Yes, so I definitely recommend doing coffee chats. I've actually gone on a few with different professionals myself before. Reaching out to them through emails, sending up follow-up emails after you've met them is a great way to stay connected with them. Also, something else you could do is ask to connect with them on LinkedIn. Also show them that you're interested and you're willing to stay in touch with them. And setting up coffee chats is definitely more important because you get more of a time to ask them any general questions that you can, some things that you forgot to ask them before. And it's also in a less stressful and time-constrained environment. So you're able to ask them and get more information about whatever it is you're interested in.
So did you reach out like right after the event?
Yeah, so definitely right after the event, it's recommended to send the follow-up email within like 2 or 3 days. Obviously not the night of, because it's going to be late that night, but definitely the next day or the following day, send a follow-up email thanking them for their time, saying maybe include something from your conversation so that they remembered you by if you connected with them in any way, and just tell them that you were looking to chat with them more and set up a coffee chat. And most of the professionals, if not all of them, would be very happy and excited to meet with you and kind of continue the conversation or continue where you guys left off at. So definitely include in the email that you're interested in doing that. Maybe also include which days and times would work best for you, and leave it up to the professional to tell you which day works based off of their busy schedule.
So how do coffee chats work? Do you find a place where to meet, or do the professionals tell you?
So usually the professionals that I've met with from Big Four firms, they usually invite you to the office. Of course, this was before COVID. Obviously, they invite you to the office, and whether you guys just sit at the lobby, in the office or go to Starbucks or anything like that, usually they kind of suggest a place to meet at, but you can definitely tell them which areas you're comfortable with meeting in. Maybe if it's far, you guys can meet somewhere in the middle, or usually to make it convenient for them, it's best if you can kind of get yourself there.
Right, perfect. And so what kind of questions did you ask when you went on the coffee chat?
So I went on the coffee chat with one of the professionals from KPMG actually, to kind of continue the conversation of where we left off. We actually, whenever I met her, we found something in common, and we had an internship with the same firm. So we kind of were talking more about that. She also gave me great information about the firm and the type of work that they do, which type of clients they work with, and just more information about how the firm works. Usually they also offer to take you on an office tour, which is great because they show you the office space, they introduce you to other professionals, or if you do have any questions that maybe they're not focused in that specific field, they can introduce you to more professionals that have experience in that.
Right, so you pretty much just get a great insight. And yeah, office tours are also great because you'll get an opportunity to kind of just see the place where you might be working in the future. So also, Tang, did you ever go on any coffee chats or office tours?
Yes, I also like set up a virtual coffee chat because during the pandemic, so we can like go out and have like go to a coffee shop or anything. But I did both coffee chat and also the firm tour. From my experience, it's really helpful for me to shadow someone at their workplace because I would know like what is at the environment that I liked to work with, and I can talk to the professional because they will become my co-worker later on. And I also have some questions about like go deeper during like what kind of service that you do, what kind of clients, and how long did you work with the firm, and what do you like most about the firm? So to see if I have some common with them or not.
Would you also consider asking the professionals what they don't like about the firm?
During the coffee chat, it depends on the professional. I did have a professional talking about like what they don't like about the firm, but you have to hear the story like from both sides. Sometimes it's just like that, just an opinion, and don't let that opinion affect to you if you really like that firm to work with.
Right, right. And so both coffee chats and the office tour were virtual, right?
The firm tour is not virtual. Coffee chats will be both out of the office and also I met a partner during the virtual coffee chat.
Got it, got it, got it. And so what do you think is the best advice for people that are going to recruit now? What should they be focused on at this moment?
At this moment, I know they working really hard. They try to like write out everything. So the first thing I would recommend is just take care of yourself, relax a little bit, because if you keep worry, it just make you feel more nervous. The second thing, just be yourself and be positive and curious. The more questions that you ask, the more thing like you will show professional that, oh, so he or she like really eager to asking more questions, but just take time to like slow down and listen to what the professionals say. And the last thing is just have fun, like relax. This is really good experience for you to like step out your comfort zone. You have to talk to different people and you will make more friends and meet more people.
I totally agree with that. Meet the Firms is a professional event for networking, and that's what you should think about. You're going there to sell yourself, but at the same time, the firms are also trying to recruit you. So just like you're looking for a firm to work in, they're looking for professionals to work for them. So at the end of the day, when you go, definitely be yourself, and just what Thang said, just have fun with it. If you're being too nervous and too scared, um, it's probably not going to be an enjoyable experience for you. So at the end of the day, just let loose, ask all the questions that you have. And yes, just try to get in the mindset of talking to the professionals as your future coworkers. Right now you're a student, but in the future you will be working in the field and they might be your potential coworkers. So yeah, just get to know them, let them get to know you, and enjoy the event. And how about Talin? Do you have any advice for the students?
Yes, so one thing I would definitely recommend is, again, it's never too early to start recruiting. I started my freshman year. I didn't even know what recruiting was. I just started talking to professionals and getting as many opinions as I could. And when I was talking to both student mentors, professional mentors, or professionals that are working in the field, I made sure to ask them both the positives and the negatives about working at the firm, the type of work that they're doing, what they like, what they don't like. And I wasn't letting this kind of change my opinion about the firm or the type of work that they're doing, but I was just trying to see all the different opinions. And as I continued talking to more professionals, I noticed some common themes amongst them because, again, since you have not worked there yet, the only way you would know is based off of other people's experiences. So it's a great idea to talk to as many people as you can, start as early as you can, and definitely don't be scared or nervous or anything like that because everybody goes through it, and the people that you're talking to have most probably gone through what you are going through now.
Right, and then as Talin said, it's never too early to start recruiting, but it's not too late either. Even if Meet the Firms doesn't go too well for you, there's always next semester. Tang, did you want to talk about that?
Sure, thank you so much. I just want to give something to you. Like, if this semester the midterm you didn't go well, you didn't get anything at the end. For example, like you didn't have any internship. Don't Please don't give up. Just keep doing it. You will have more experience. You will feel more confident when you do it next time. And that will from my experience, my first midterm, I didn't have anything like SLP or internship. So I just continue go to midterm the second time. And this time I feel more confident. I know what kind of question that I would like to ask. And at the end, I have 2 internships with 2 accounting firm for next year. So please don't give up and just continue do whatever that you're doing because you will get something at the end of the day.
Totally. Never get discouraged. Just keep trying and you'll definitely get it. So I would like to thank Talin and Thang for joining us today. It was great to have you. Thank you for the advice. We really appreciate it. And thanks to our listeners. Tune in next week to discuss how to maintain your professional relationships after the initial meeting. Subscribe to our channel for more tips, and don't forget to hit like and turn on the bell notifications. See you next week.